You're still tuned to Breakfast Central. And now we're heading into the labor market where we're looking at the fact that recruiting talents for companies is indeed a challenge in Africa's recruitment workforce. Recruiters yearn to have access to endless talents with possibilities, especially with a catalog of HR services which include digital recruitment solutions, offline recruitment solutions, manpower outsourcing, talent management, and e-learning. The African Talent Company will be investing in the e-learning space and developing a winning suite of diverse, easy-to-use self-service online products for upskilling candidates on its platform.
And with more than a combined 4.6 million job seekers and 150,000 plus employers on the platform, the African Talent Company, formerly known as Rome Jobs, Jobberman Nigeria, Ghana, Brighter Monday Kenya, and Brighter Monday Uganda, will be having an expansion into more African countries on the horizon. And joining us to talk about this strategic alliance is the CEO, Hilda Kabushenga Kraga. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, tell us, and give us information about the new name and the structure, and of course the expansion that this is going to take.
Yeah, I think for us at the heart of it is just realizing how the job market has evolved through the pandemic, right? We came from a place where, especially in Africa, everything was still very rigid. People expected full-time jobs in the workplace on your desk every single day. And then also they expected, you graduated at a certain time, you get into a graduate recruitment program if you're lucky, or look for a job in a typical way. But then the pandemic exposed a lot of things. One, you can work from anywhere. The global market has fully been blown open. And two, if Africans are to take part in this global market, they really have to be upskilled for it. So one of the reasons why we've evolved is understanding that and that realization to say, if we're to still be relevant and still be at the forefront of the recruitment market in Africa, the talent development space, one, we have to move from just focusing on the employer side to truly bridging the gap between labor supply and labor demand. And two, we have to find employers where they are. Most jobs are offline, some are in the informal market. A lot of skilled labor or semi-skilled labor is not from universities. They've followed other paths to get into the workway. And we have to find them where they are and bridge that gap using both technology, which at our heart, we are a tech company, but understanding that we have to build trust in the tech. And if it's a hybrid method that makes more sense, then that's the approach we take.
All right. This is amazing innovation. We're seeing how COVID has changed the dynamics of how work is being run and how business is being done. Let's talk about, an analysis of the job market in Nigeria and the recruitment process. What would you say about this?
I think there's maybe two, if we talk about the supply and demand, right, in terms of jobs. On the demand side, of course, a lot needs to be done to ensure job creation is happening at the same rate that people graduate into the market, at the same rate as people want to work. On the supply side, there's many challenges. One, there's the obvious one around upskilling. How many people are indeed getting the right skills to get them the right job as they mature into adulthood or when they want to work? There's the one around, the lost labor force. How many people, especially women, leave the labor force despite having all their skills, master's degrees, years of experience. Once they start to have children and never come back, we lose those skills, and an effort has to be done to bring them back. Then the third thing around how are people actually hired? Is it transparent? You find the best qualified person doesn't always get the job. And what this does is that it actually hinders workplace productivity. Because if you truly have the best people working on your jobs, then the company does better. And there's more returns to the economy, you can eventually hire more people. And so that's a bridge that needs to, that's a gap that needs to be bridged and that would want to work on. Making sure there's enough trust on the recruiter side and on the employer side to really hire transparently and try to get the best person in the right job, and also invest in the talent to upskill them. You will never get a fully formed person, you still have to invest in them. And on the seeker side, making sure that the opportunities are very transparent for them and that they're indeed ready for work.
All right, is there also concerns, because I'm sure that lately you must have seen that there has been some sort of brain drain. Africa has 1.3 billion in youth population size, but there's a lot of people who are moving to Europe and Asia and other countries, to seek better job opportunities. How much of a challenge is that, and how can we ensure that employment in Africa starts to look, a lot better than it currently is for these very young, and vibrant people?
So it's a large concern because it's the best of our people that are leaving, right? And in a way, you can't blame them. You think about building long-term generational wealth for your family. You think about the cost of healthcare and the idea of having a social security net. And it's hard for a young person or young mother to make a decision to say, I will stay and be patriotic when there's better opportunities in Canada, right? I think what we need to do is, one, we need a much more professionalized labor workforce. The idea that if I'm in a toxic workplace, if I'm being mistreated at work, I do have a right to recourse. The idea that there's a salary benchmark or there's a minimum wage that I can be a part of, and also the basic idea around job creation, that the government and the private sector are working together to grow the economy and make sure jobs are being created. Because if you graduate and you wait 5 years and you can't find the right opportunity, or you're severely underpaid, of course you'll find these new opportunities elsewhere. Unfortunately, as a young job seeker, you cannot change the labor market instantaneously. So what becomes your debate is, do I wait it out or do I go and find fast opportunities? I think maybe what's interesting for me about this as well is that, especially for young people on Twitter or on Instagram, the brain drain is typically, oh my God, tech people are leaving, tech talent are leaving, the devs are leaving. But that's actually, if anything, a small part of the skills gap. The bigger issues we have are around doctors and nurses and teachers, nursery school teachers, the people who, if anything, should be educating the next generation. As they are leaving, it creates an even larger skills gap at the bottom of the learning pyramid, which will be a bigger challenge later on.
Now, I'm a woman, so of course I have to ask this question. We find that women oftentimes are served the shorter end of the stick when it comes to employment. We've seen the fact that most women go into, after maybe getting married, having children, they lose some years in their careers. What would you say are some of the things that can be done to help women, take charge in these areas? What can the continent do to help advance the career of women?
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have lost her, but we hope that she'll be back shortly. Okay, we've lost connection. We've lost audio. We apologize for that. Of course, it is something that happens. Everybody's having meetings, and the internet is sort of a connecting point for us.
Yeah.
But I think that this last question I asked her is very important, because I'm a woman myself, and I find that as women, we've seen situations where a woman is getting a job opportunity and she's afraid to say that she's getting married, or she's afraid to say that she's pregnant, because there's just this assumption that the moment you say you're pregnant, your employer automatically assumes that you're not fit for the job. Yes. And is already looking for your replacement. And in actual sense, sometimes they even go have the baby, and before you're back, there's someone, they tell you, it's a business, the business must run. So women have really been offered the shorter end of the stick.
I mean, I agree, and also, women have also complained that they don't seem to, get a similar salary scale, with men or doing the same thing in the workplace. So there's a lot of these concerns,
Yes.
and I think it's important that, African businesses and African companies and the African, employment space entirely needs to somehow, some ways, be able to fill all these loopholes and ensure that women are protected in the workplace. I understand that they've spoken about paternity leave every now and then,
Yes.
but it's not everywhere, and it's just a handful of companies that actually will consider adequate paternity or maternity leave, I beg your pardon,
and paternity leave as well,
yeah,
because by giving just the woman maternity leave, we're saying that the role of raising a child is restricted just for the woman. The man needs to bond. The man needs to be a part of raising his child as well. So telling the woman you're giving her 6 months and giving the man 10 days, we don't see that that's equally fair in some sense. Men should be given more time.
Yes.
We've seen a lot more
paid leave.
Paid leave, yes. We've seen a lot more organizations taking the initiative and saying to the men, go home, spend more time with your children, bond. I mean, it's the early phase,
Yes.
right? There's so much really to be explored when we are talking about conversations about employment, but of course we will not stop talking about it here on Breakfast Central.